Hi guys, Dr. Mo here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a special guest coming to talk to us about raising a child, or now a young adult, with autism. As many of you know, autism or autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. According to the CDC, or Center for Disease Control, autism affects approximately 1 in 44 children in the United States today. Most children are diagnosed at the age of 4, however, some around the age of 2. So between the age of 2 and 4, most children are diagnosed with autism. Ms. Williams is here to talk to us about her experience raising a young adult. Today, she's going to give us her experience and her story as it pertains to autism. Everyone, please welcome Ms. Williams to our show.
Hi. First of all, thank you, Dr. Mo, for having me. I do have a son who has autism. He is high functioning, and I wanted you about one of the most challenging challenges, I guess, that he has had and that we have had as far as raising him. As a child, we teach our children how to advocate for themselves, and that is something that we really honed in on, because at some point, I realized that he's going to have to speak for himself and explain what his needs are. So that's been the biggest challenge as far as raising a person to a young adult to be independent, is what we want. And that's what we want for all of our children.
Absolutely. And I do want to note that as it pertains to autism, there is no one type of autism. I can tell you that in many cultures and ethnicities, they have dealt with autism for many, many years. Many in the African American community, we are seeing an influx because we now know what our children are experiencing. What would you say would be one of those things, or some of the hardships that Isaiah had to overcome?
For Isaiah, he was diagnosed very early on, about the age of 3.5. He was given a diagnosis of autism. So we've been in this game, and we have, I guess we could say, we know what the enemy is. We know what the diagnosis is. So we can tackle different avenues that he may experience or have challenges with. And for Isaiah, one of the biggest challenges for him was learning how to be social. And that's one of the things that his interventionists worked with him on and worked with us on as well. It could be something as simple as he would start in the middle of a conversation, assuming that other people know what he's talking about. So we have to work on that. How do you start a conversation? When you're having a conversation, you have to listen to what the person says before you respond. And your response needs to be appropriate, because sometimes it's very self-centered, like a lot of kids are, but learning the back and forth and the give and take of a conversation helps to alleviate some of that social awkwardness that sometimes students or children with autism have. So having him work on his socialization skills was, I think, biggest challenge, but he worked on it so much. We worked on it so much. Now he's 26 and he's thriving. And a lot of times, he might have he still has quirks or whatever, but for the most part, he does very well interacting with other people.
Awesome. What do you think are those things or those principles, that one thing or that one sentence, that positive affirmation that you shared with your son to ensure that he was well-rounded and confident?
Right. Early on, like I said, we wanted to find out exactly what we were dealing with. And once we realized what we were dealing with, his challenges, like I said, were social, but, he had other challenges as well. So one thing that I had to make sure that he understood is that you have goals, and the road to your goal may not be straight. You may have crooks and turns, and you may have setbacks. But that should not stop you from getting what you want and what you desire in life. So he understood, I may not get there with someone else, but I'm going to get there. And he's understood that he is on his own path, and he doesn't judge his abilities by anybody else's standards.
Great. What are some of your worries, or do you have any worries about his future?
He's doing pretty well. He's graduated from college, Clemson University. Yay.
Tigers.
So he's doing well. He is in the workforce now. He off of his goals now, his next steps. He's always thinking about, okay, what is, which I love, because if you don't have a goal, it's not a worry, but I want to remind him that you always need to understand what your purpose is. And if you're not operating in your purpose, then you need to self-evaluate. And that's just not for him, that's anyone. You've got to know where you're.
Awesome. What has he taught you?
Isaiah, like I said, is with of Clemson University. He did not on a 4-year program. He took some detours. He had to take some courses. And at some point I was like, well, Isaiah, are you sure you want to get this degree from Clemson? You could always go here or there and your associate's degree from this technical college. Do you want to pursue a different avenue? Clemson is not the only place that you could get a degree from. And he was like, Mom, what did you tell me? Steady the course. This is my goal. I'm not going to veer off from my goal. My goal is to get a degree from Clemson, and I don't care how long it takes. So the biggest lesson that Isaiah has taught me is perseverance. He has persevered, and that's a quality that, you could be really smart, a smart person, very intelligent, but you can have one wrinkle in the road and you just fall apart. And my mom used to tell me, and then I relate this message to him. Doesn't matter how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up that counts. So you got to keep going. So his big thing is, his lesson he's taught me is perseverance.
I too can learn a lesson about and teach quite a few about perseverance. Like my grandmother would once say, slow and steady wins the race. Just keep going. It's not how fast you go. It's the fact that you continue to go.
That's right.
And so perseverance is a huge lesson for many of us. What would you like for people to know and understand about anyone with special needs, autism and other special needs? What would you like for them to know?
Yeah, like you mentioned before, there's different levels that autism looks different to the person. There's no one size fits all to with autism, a person with special needs, but not everybody has their own unique situation. Everybody's not, and that's fine. I would tell people that, this kind of, I don't know if I'm answering this question, but this is what I want you to know. I want you to know that people a lot of times are skeptical of having that label on their child. I don't want to be tested. I don't want people to label my child. And what I've taught or told other parents, every single person has a label. You may not like the label. I'm known as the short lady at church. My husband's known as the little slim dude with all the kids. Everybody has a label. So what? You may not like it. If you don't like your label, you might need to change it. But you need to know that autism is not a label. It's a superpower if you use it the right way and you recognize what your goal is.
Awesome. It is a superpower. What should we teach our kids at home about children with special needs?
I would like for younger children, to build a sense of empathy. A lot of studies show that empathy is one of those feelings that children are not naturally born with. It has to be taught, it has to be built upon. So it's important for young children to be around others who may not look like them or sound like them, so that they can start building those relationships and those feelings early on, and understand that everybody in life has their own path, and it's okay to be different. And it makes not just personal needs better, it all us as humans better, because that's what we want in the world. We want other people to not always put themselves first or think about someone else's feelings. I think if we had a lot more clarity, we'd be much better off.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us today and sharing your experience as it pertains to autism. Thanks for all the nuggets that you've dropped. I'm sure that there are many, many people that are going to benefit from it. And tell Isaiah, way to go. Keep pushing and keep persevering. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too.